So now what kind of permits do you need? Well, the first thing to do if you're going to start your business is you need to get a federal basic permit. So depending upon if you're going to be an importer, you'll get an importer's basic permit. If you're going to be a wholesaler, it would be a wholesaler's basic permit. And also at the federal level, you can get a combined permit. So it's slightly less paperwork, not that much, but you can get a combined permit to do both. So once you do that, and you are approved and you get your federal permit, then if you're going to be an importer, you also have to register as an alcohol dealer with the TTB. So now that you have your federal license under your belt, what do you do? How do you start operations? Well, of course, you have to do it at the state level too. So the federal, because we have our federal guidelines, overall laws, and then each state has their own individual laws. So if I'm going to open up my business in New York, well, then I'm going to have to apply for those permits locally. So I would go to the state liquor authority and apply for an importer's permit if I'm going to be an importer in New York. And then also, if I'm going to be a wholesaler, I have to determine what type of wholesaler I'm going to be. Do I want to be a wine-only wholesaler, or do I want to be a wine and spirits wholesaler? Well, I'm going to opt for the wine and spirits wholesaler because I like those products in Italy, right? The wine and the distilled spirits. So then I would apply for those permits in New York, and then once those are issued, then I can start my operation in New York. But now what about those other states that I was interested in selling into? What if it's New Jersey? What if it's Florida? What if it's Nevada? What if it's California? Well, I can't just sell because I have my federal basic permit and also my New York permits. So now I have to look to those individual states and see what I need. So if I am going to sell to another wholesaler in another state, I may need an out-of-state dealer's permit, or I may need an out-of-state shipper's permit, or whatever permit that is required for that particular state. So providing everything is fine, I got my other permits, my federal and my New York state permits, assuming that everything is good, I should be able to get those in the other particular states. Now, in addition to those permits, because you haven't filled out enough paperwork, you need a certificate of authority to do business in those states as well. Again, this is a nominal filing. It's not very costly, but it just allows you to do business. Because if I have a New York corporation, that's considered foreign to other states. So it's not foreign meaning outside the borders of the US, but it's foreign to that particular state. So New Jersey, if a Delaware corporation wants to do work or conduct business in New Jersey, they're considered foreign, so they would just file an application to do so.